Hi you guys, my name is Kenzie. For those of you who don't know me, I'm just gonna jump right into this video talking about all your questions about glue, humidity, nano misting, retention, all of the above. A lot of you had questions on when you would want to nano mist and when you wouldn't want to nano mist. We have to think about it this way. Moisture is the reason our glue moisture is the reason our glue cures. So if the humidity is higher in your room, typically you're having that moisture and that glue is curing a little bit easier. If your humidity is really low, that's when you'd want to use your nano mister. And I have one from EBO. It's my favorite. You just slide right up and the fine mist comes out like that. So if your humidity is low, use it a couple times throughout the service or just at the very end to kind of introduce that little bit of moisture to help the glue cure. If your humidity is high, you typically don't need to use it unless you want to just go right over at the end. Moving on, I did have a question about sealant. So when you're using sealant, you'd want to use it at the end of your classic application. What you would do is you'd take one of your single-use mascara wands, place it into the bottle, and then just gently go right over those classic lashes. You wouldn't want to use it on volume lashes because it will close your fans. Talking about lash shampoo, right now I've been using and my clients use the EBO lash cleanser. I love it because it's a foam, so I feel like it's easy to get out of your lashes. I know there are some gel cleansers and I feel like those ones, if you're using too much, it can be hard to get out of the lash line, especially, you really have to rinse those ones out, so I prefer a foam. Humidity and temp for Grand Rapid. I think Grand Rapids humidity range is a little bit lower than most. For me, I'm in Seattle, and so it works well for me anywhere from 15% humidity, and I actually use it all the way up to 50% humidity. But then again, it depends on how fast you work. So going back talking about moisture, if there's a lot of moisture in the air, that glue is curing much faster. So if you're not a fast lasher, I wouldn't recommend using Grand Rapid in 50% humidity. With that being said, if you have a little bit lower humidity, Grand Rapid should be good for you. It's about a 1 second dry time, and I find that in 50% humidity, it's a little bit closer to half a second, so you gotta be really quick. Someone mentioned using less glue and having that be better. You wanna make sure you're using enough. If you're using a very, very small amount, by the time you get to that lash, depending on humidity, it could cure by the time you get there. And when you go through and you brush through those lashes when you're changing your glue or just throughout the service and they all kind of pop off, that could be one of the reasons. So make sure you're using enough glue. One gal did ask about clients having better retention on one eye than another. This could be a number of reasons. So it could be because she sleeps on one side, and so I don't know if you guys have noticed, sometimes clients will come in and have those very outer corners on one eye just completely missing. They could tend to sleep on that side. Another thing too, if you say you're right-handed and you're using your jade stone over here and you have to get to that left eye, sometimes again, if you're not fast enough, that glue can cure a little bit before you actually get it onto the lash, and that could be why it's popping off easily. If you use a glue ring, you shouldn't typically have this problem. But again, sometimes it's placement as well. Make sure your wrist is coming in at a comfortable angle, but also being able to get that flush connection between the extension and the natural lash. I had a question about primer. Someone asked if I used it, if I recommended one. I prime some clients, and again, I use the EBO lash primer. As you can see, I need to reorder. Basically, most of my clients wash their lashes right before they get in, so those clients I wouldn't prime. Anyone that looks like they have a little bit of buildup, I will go ahead and prime. I don't actually cleanse their lashes while they're in here. I know a lot of lash artists are loving that, so I think I'll start to try that to see if that's something I like, to see if I have better retention. But yeah, so I prime on some clients and most of the time I don't. So again, I think that's more of a personal preference thing, or depending on how your clients come in with their lashes. I think that's all I have for you guys. I hope I answered your questions and you took something away from this, or you feel a little bit more confident. And if you have any more questions, feel free to DM me. I'd love to answer any retention, glue, all of those questions. Bye, you guys.